And Fox News contributor Karl Rove. Karl, good to spend Friday afternoon with you. So a lot of Democratic lawmakers continue to stand behind Platner, including Ruben Gallego of Arizona, Martin Heinrich of New Mexico, Chuck Schumer, of course, from New York, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Ro Khanna, who is going to be campaigning with Platner tonight. Even Kirsten Gillibrand, who's heading up the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee. She's the person who ran Al Franken out of the Senate on a rail, says that she's going to work with Platner to try to win back Collins' seat.
Yeah, my personal favorite is Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island. Wonderfully appealing, he says, of Platner. Is it appealing the Nazi tattoo or the racist postings? Why don't blacks ever tip? Is it the question of sexual misconduct that makes him appealing? Is it the inflammatory Reddit postings? Is it him taking the noted American hero Chris Kyle and saying outrageous things about what he supposedly did in Iraq? I mean, this guy is a disaster, and Democrats are stuck with him. White House gave him $10,000 from his own campaign committee, and gave him that wonderful "go get him," wonderfully appealing label. But the Democrats are stuck. The primaries next week. Janet Mills, the governor, who got into the race early on and then withdrew, is still on the ballot. But Maine's going to nominate, in my opinion, Platner, and it's going to be a rough time for them in the fall election.
So you just highlighted all of the things that Sheldon Whitehouse might like about Graham Platner. Igor Bobich wrote this on X about Whitehouse. Democratic Senator Whitehouse says he is, quote, not impressed by the allegations against Graham Platner in the latest New York Times report. Quote, seems like a lot of nothing. I mean, the only one who had anything to say that seemed, quote, unsettling was a woman who works for right-wing political operations. I remember a time when the Democrats were, repeating the mantra, believe all women. Now it's like, well, don't believe these women. Yeah.
Well, and it's not just the latest allegations. There's been a whole raft of difficulty surrounding this guy, and leading to a general impression of this guy can't tell the truth. He says outrageous things, unbelievably offensive things, and Democrats are willing to sort of let all that go by because, by God, the most important thing is we defeat one of the most respected members of the United States Senate in the form of Susan Collins.
Right. And, Ro Khanna, as we pointed out, is going to be campaigning with him tonight. It appears as though he is still going to be doing that. He put out this statement earlier today. The behavior described in the New York Times story was wrong and toxic. Graham has acknowledged that and sought redemption. The people of Maine deserve a senator who is going to stand up to the billionaire class against genocide and for the working class.
Roe is wrong. Platner's not sought redemption. He's denied this happened. He hasn't said, look, I did a bad thing to these women and I was wrong to sex test women while I was married. He's not apologized for this stuff. Has he ever said, God, I slandered an American hero, a fellow member of the military, and I apologize? He's not sought redemption. He's tried to brush this aside and say, you know what, it doesn't matter anymore because I did it when I was young, like 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, this is ridiculous, and Roe is smarter than this. This is the kind of activity that Democrats go through if you want to run for president in the case of Roe, and you don't want to offend anybody in the process.
So as all of this was breaking in the New York Times last night, Platner ran to a friendly television outlet and said this.
There are some allegations in this piece that I just want to be kind of unequivocal about are simply not true. Anything alleging physicality, anything alleging that I knew what my tattoo was, these are the statements of someone who's politically motivated.
Talking about Linda Fifield, who made the allegations that she was locked in a bedroom by Graham Platner and pulled somewhat violently out of a car by her wrist when she refused to get out of it. I mean, he's denying it. It becomes, to some degree, a he said, she said. But when you have these kind of odious allegations against somebody who wants to become a member of the Senate, don't you need to be held to a higher standard?
Well, maybe. And remember what he said. He said some. At the beginning of that statement, he said some of the things are wrong. I mean, look, this guy is a walking disaster for the Democrats. They're welcome to him. You guys came up with this idea. You got taken in by him, so you got to now live with him. The idea that for 18 years he walked around with a Nazi tattoo and had no idea what it was. The idea that he shows himself on a dating site wrapped in a towel, hiding the tattoo conveniently, please, The Senate, the Congress is in bad repute already. We don't need to draw it down even further by electing a clown like this. This is unbelievable. The Democrats have got to be embarrassed by it, and I suspect a lot of them will privately admit they are.
And Lindsay Fifield in this article alleges that he knew about the Totenkopf symbol, knew what it stood for, and referred to it that way. So we'll see if he makes it to Tuesday and beyond. I think a lot of people are believing that he will and should, and a lot of people are thinking he should get out of the race right now. We'll see what happens. Karl, good to talk to you. Thank you. Have a great week.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.